This is Janelle with Legacy Rose Company, and today we're going to be talking with a fellow colleague in the real estate streets. This is an investor, a landlord, and get your take on your journey towards hiring a property manager and what that has looked like for you. So, welcome, Mr. Sumner. You want to introduce yourself, say a few words?
Um, I guess my name, like you said, is Sean. I've been in the business for over 10 years. I have properties from Texas, North Carolina, different states, different cities. So I've been around for a minute.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your day to talk to us at LRC Property Management. My first question, as we jump into this, we're talking about property management and why you should or shouldn't hire a property manager. Landlords have different concerns for one reason or another. So, my first question to you, what made you decide to hire a property manager instead of managing for yourself?
But I started off doing it myself. I thought I could handle it. I can save all the money to go to myself. That way, with more profit. I realized quickly that the time it took to figure out who to call when things went south took a lot more time out of my day and made it a little more, or a lot more stressful. So definitely, once I got the chance to hire someone that could handle that for me, I knew how to handle them well and who to call every time. I definitely took a lot of pressure off of me, and definitely it was worth the additional investment to have someone to cover that for me.
Awesome. That's a great point that you brought up, right? A lot of DIY landlords, that's one of the biggest things they say is, I want to save money. Hiring a property manager is cost prohibitive to me. So thank you for sharing that. Um, what has been the biggest benefit you've experienced since partnering with a property management company?
Biggest benefit. Um, it's a lot, definitely a lot. The first is less stress. I think the phone calls I've gotten at night range from, my plumbing is backing up. There's been calls about the sink leaking. There's been calls about the oven or the stove stop working. Like, there's a lot of different things, and those things which you can't really just get on the phone and fix it. You have to figure out who is best to fix it, who works after hours, but what companies exist that service late hours. And you don't necessarily know, especially if you're out of state, you don't know what to call out of state. You may know
Right.
your local people in your city, but out of the city, you don't know who to call. And so having that entity that has connections that are statewide or countrywide, then you got a lot of relief in that way, and they can definitely take those calls late night that you can't necessarily take. You might be sleeping, you missed a phone call, and the tenant is upset with you because you couldn't get back with them to fix that problem that they had. So having someone that's on staff 24/7 that's able to
Mhm.
answer late night calls definitely is a great benefit of having one on your team.
Awesome. That's a great answer. Especially with being an out of state landlord, I can see how, that would be a benefit. In addition to that, when you hire a property manager, a lot of times they have multiple properties, right? If they're a professional company, so they're able to leverage economies of scale with pricing as well. So it's not just about having the connection and knowing who to call, but also getting the best price because of the volume of work they send to the plumber, the maintenance person, the HVAC person. They may be able to negotiate better pricing so that their clients are able to see those savings versus, as a DIY, yes, over time you will establish relationships and have people on deck to call. But being in the hiring a property manager takes that a step further with the economies of scale and price savings in addition to knowing who to call when that leak
Mm.
happens after hours.
And
Awesome.
definitely. As far as thinking about savings when it comes to the cost of doing those repairs, I didn't think of it that way. As far as the savings you get from having someone who has connections who can say, well, I brought you business before, and then you get a discount based on the fact that you have the relationship of multiple calls, multiple properties to go service, that you get more business, and so they say they make more money in the long run, and therefore they can pass on that savings to you and give you a little discount here and there because you bring us much other business along the way. So definitely a good plus.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how has working with a property manager changed the way you view real estate investing or even being a landlord? How has it changed your view after working with them?
I think what it gave me the chance to see is residual income where you're getting paid while you're sleeping, right? Essentially, what that means is that you get residual income coming in. You get a deposit into your account. Is it monthly or biweekly? And you're hands off, meaning that you have the property, you own it, they're managing it, and they're controlling the payroll. Everything is done so that you actually see residual income at a level where you're just literally hands free. The business is essentially running itself. And that's a great thing to have a business that runs itself and you still make sure you get paid at the same time.
Awesome, awesome. So, can you give a or share an example of a time when your property manager handled a situation that would have been difficult for you to manage on your own?
And definitely. My first property that I had was in Texas. I was living there for the military. I happened to move out of state. My house was still there. I rented it out to another family, and I knew that I can collect X amount of money every month. But what happened was over time, the property started to have issues that needed to get resolved, and they would definitely always call me, and I wasn't there to assist. I wasn't there to answer those calls all the time, and I didn't know who was best to handle the situation that came up as time went on. So it was definitely beneficial for me to have someone that lives in the area, knows the community, has connections, and they were able to facilitate all those repairs, all the late calls, especially with different time zones too. They were like 3 hours behind us. So when it was late for them, it was early for me, and vice versa. So definitely that time difference, being able to have someone that's like on the same time zone as them handle those calls definitely made it so much easier for me. And I was still able to get my monthly checks coming in, and the worry of having to get those late night calls or too early in the morning calls was definitely off my shoulders at that point.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what would you say to a landlord who's on the fence about hiring a property manager? What type of advice would you give to that person? Knowing what you know today, the experience that you've had working with a property management company to handle your property management needs, what advice would you give to someone that's on the fence?
For me, I think advice I would say is the savings that you are trying to get, it's not worth the headache you receive during
Mm-hmm.
those times when things do go awry. So you would think I thought that the extra $200 a month I might collect was going to be enough for me to be okay. Then I realized that the stress that comes from having to deal with those, not all tenants are friendly, not all tenants are easy to speak with, or easy to get along with, easy to have communication back and forth with. And so having someone that's professional, know what they're doing, been in the business for a while, understand the legality and the laws that change about how to evict, how you cannot evict, the rules of those states or those cities or those that you're in, it definitely alleviates so much worry from you that that $20 savings is well and reinvested in your peace of mind. And as a business owner, one thing you want to have is peace of mind, knowing that covered legally. You're not gonna get sued by anyone. You're not gonna get
Mm-hmm.
any of those things. It's all protected, and someone that knows what they're doing has a full view of the property, whether it's from maintenance to the laws to safety checks. All those things are already being put in place for you, and you can sit back and collect your commission on a monthly basis without have to worry about any of those. So definitely recommend it. A good thing to have.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great points, great suggestion. Thank you so much for sharing that. You know, we live in an age where there's so much information out there, right? You may think that I'll just go to YouTube University and I'll be part of this Facebook group for investors and landlords and get my information there. And certainly, absolutely, there is that, right? There is information out there. There is connections and people that can put you in the right contact with maintenance person or HVAC persons and get referrals for contractors. But one thing you shared is the peace of mind.
Yeah.
Knowing that this person is an expert in this, right? Knowing that they're staying on top of the changes in the laws for real estate for evictions.
Yeah.
And then also not having to deal with tenants that may be rude or, not as easy to work with. Those aren't things that you can account for always. So having that property management service takes it to another level. It's not all just about collecting checks, right?
Correct.
There's a value to that goes beyond getting someone in there and collecting a check. So thank you so much for
Definitely.
sharing your experience with working with property management and what made you make that leap, and for sharing your advice with someone that might be on the fence of, I'm just going to save this $200, as you said,
Yeah.
versus that peace of mind of knowing, yes, I may be paying X amount, but all of these benefits fall under that. I'm able to sleep through the night. I'm able to take vacations with my family uninterrupted. I'm able to enjoy the Christmas holiday or Thanksgiving without having to deal with a burst pipe or the heat's not working. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. 100% absolutely. So thanks again, Sean, for being with us, for sharing your thoughts and your feedback. I really, really, truly appreciate it. I hope this encourages another investor, homeowner, landlord that's considering renting out their property or bringing on a property manager and showing you some additional benefits of that service. So thanks again.
Thank you. Appreciate you.